True or you joking? No, I'm serious. Look.
There we go. What's up, everybody? My name is Dell. This is Dell on Movies. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me again. Movie Swap is back. We had a brief hiatus. We had a lot of scheduling conflicts and personal things happening, so couldn't quite get out an episode last couple of weeks. But we're back. I'm glad to be back. Tonight's guest, I'm excited to talk to. I've been following him on Instagram for probably a couple years now, maybe 2, 3 years now since I've been on Instagram, pretty much. Puts out lots of good content about movies, lots of out of theater reactions with him and his wife. And I'm gonna bring on Mr. Migs Rodriguez, aka Movies with Migs. What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother? Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate you. Much love to you. And yeah, been
Absolutely.
following you too. Love the content. Well, anything about movies, we good with. So I appreciate this reaching out to me for the movie swap. I dig it, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you saying yes. Like I said, I've been following you, and I love you guys. Out of theater reactions. Whose idea was it to go ahead and start posting those?
Oh, I mean, I've been doing like reviews just kind of on the side for a little while. It was before I started like the page and kind of doing stuff on there. It was just more just kind of like written. I didn't really post videos, but as things progress, videos the way go. You get a better phones, better cameras, all that kind of good stuff. So
Yeah.
you just gotta move with the wave, man. Move with technology.
Yeah, I feel you. So it's just a natural progression. I like it. All right.
Yeah, and
And
we like to do like you said right out the theater, keep it low key. We don't we keep it like bam, like straight reaction right from the cell phone. We right there. We normally like do it like as soon as the movie's over, kind of deal. So you get that raw, real reaction. I think people appreciate that. I mean, I do long reviews sometimes, and I do written reviews. I haven't done like a real written review in a long time. I think since like the beginning of this year, but I'm gonna get back into that. But those I think those quick reactions where you're not spoiling stuff and revealing things like that. People appreciate that, so that's
yeah.
what we rock with.
So now I got a question. I don't do those because I always like to let a movie marinate before I give my thoughts on it. So my question to you then is: you ever go back to some of those reactions and be like, "Ooh, man, I had that wrong. I don't really think about that movie, like either good or bad. Whether it's something you didn't really like and you like it
Well,
more now."
yeah, I think there's been a few movies. I think it's more so where I might not have been digging it at first, and then I went back and watched it again, and maybe my reaction was different. I haven't really been the other way around where I watched a movie and I liked it, and then I watched it again and I didn't like it.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of aspects of it being more critical, but it's normally like I'll watch something and it's like, you know what, I wasn't really feeling it. And then I watch it again, it's like, oh, okay, you know what, wasn't so bad. So I mean, there's been a few movies like that. I just
Okay.
watched what was it? I just watched The Nun again, right? Because The Nun 2 came out, and I didn't remember The Nun. Like I think I fell asleep in the theater. I don't remember what happened because I was like, I don't really remember this movie. And I got the Conjuring movie, so I was like, let me watch it again. And I watched the first one. I said, okay, this wasn't so bad, but I don't remember why I didn't remember the movie. And like I said, I really think I fell asleep on that one.
It's possible. I haven't
Yeah.
seen the Nun. I just bought the Nun actually not a few weeks back. I was in Big Lots and they had it for like three
Mm.
dollars. So I was like, well, let me
Oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Hey, don't sleep on Big Lots, man.
Exactly.
Big Lots be
So
having some joints.
yeah, you can't beat them. They're all less than $7.
Right,
Most of the
right.
time. And let me ask you: is the Big Lots by you? Is it like mine where it'll have a price on there and you'll go up there and it'll ring up for a price much less?
Sometimes everyone I got a couple movies where it was like a buck less than what the sticker said. And I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, exactly. One day I went in there. It was sticker said 4.99, and it was like a couple. I bought like three movies. It was one was they was like $5 movies, two of them, and then a $3 movie. And then when she
Right,
lady rings them up, it all came out to like $7. I was like, well, okay, I'll take it.
right,
That's
right.
all
Hey,
good.
look, I'm
And
good with
then
that.
yeah, and she's like, well, we. I was like, well, what happened? Because I was just curious. She was like, well, it's, some of them are ringing up. like 40% off or something like that. So, well, how do I know which one? So we don't know. Well, if you don't know,
Hey,
I don't know. But
look,
I'll roll with it.
as long as it's not above what the sticker says, we good. Anything lower,
Exactly.
bet.
Exactly. Long as we going in the right direction, we cool.
Right, right.
Right. All right.
Don't be
So
ringing up no 3.99 and talk about this 6.99.
six.
Like,
Yeah.
nah.
Exactly. Exactly. Can't be going that way. I start putting stuff back then, or we have
Right, right.
conversations. I don't want to have those conversations all the time.
I hear
All
you,
right.
man.
All right. So now I got one other question for you, really, before we get into it, get into the chat, see who's here with us, hanging out. So when I have guests on, I always kind of do a little poking around the internet, just seeing things. And when I go to YouTube and I put in your name, the first thing that pops up with you is a rap battle from I don't know how many years ago. So how did that all come along, and how was that? I'm not asking if you won or lost or anything like that because I did watch it, but
A
I mean,
rap battle? I don't remember a rap battle with me.
it's sure your face. Yeah.
What was the title of the video?
Oh man,
Do you
I'm gonna
remember?
have to find it. I'll find it while we talking.
I don't remember a rap
Unless you have
battle.
a
I know it
twin.
did like some. I used to do stuff back in the day with a homeboy of mine named Styles T. He makes a lot of beats. He makes some dope stuff. You check him out. We used to do a little stuff for there. I used to like write flows or just spit out some freestyles over some beats he used to give me. He used to get like this dude made some dope beats from like video games and like
Uh,
anime, just like all kind of stuff. So I used to do that. I don't really remember a rap battle though.
I'm gonna have to find the title of this video,
The
but
last the last rap battle I did was at a comedy show a couple weeks ago at this thing called Comedy Mania that they put on in a local little production where it's kind of like a play on WrestleMania.
okay.
So like they set up a ring and the comics like tell jokes and some comics like do wrestling stuff or come as wrestlers and things like that. So I actually came as when do you watch wrestling at all?
Not in like 30 years.
Yeah. Well, okay. So do you remember when Vince McMahon was wearing a do rag?
Thankfully, no.
Okay. Well,
Actually,
anyway,
you know
that
what?
happened. You can look that up. Look up
Yeah.
do rag Vince McMahon whenever you get a chance. That actually happened several years ago.
Oh
So I
man.
came as that character, like my own little spin on it, and we had a little rap battle there. But I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't really remember anything from the past. I don't know. I mean, I got like old videos on there. I don't really mess with YouTube anymore. I was thinking about getting back into it and putting like the movie stuff on there, but I mostly post my stuff on my movie page and then like on Instagram. So
Right. Right.
I have to go
And
back and look because I honestly don't know. I don't remember what you're talking about. Like I don't remember a
I
rap
just
battle.
found it because I was kind of I don't know if you noticed, but I was kind of looking around. I got DJ Nia versus Migs Rodriguez 8 years ago.
Let me see. DJ who?
Near NEAR.
Yeah, I got nothing for you, bro. And that's
Look,
me.
look it up whenever you get a chance. Hit me up
Yeah, I'm gonna
on
have to
IG.
because what is it called?
DJ Near versus Migs Rodriguez on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know
You
about that
got
one. That
on
might
a
be a different.
you got on a red. Looks like a. It's not a jersey, but looks like you got Captain America on the front, red shirt. You got a jacket over it, so I can't tell fully, and you got a blue hat with a red brim.
I don't know. I guess I don't
All
know.
right, that's cool. Like I said, hit me up on IG when you look at it,
All
and
right, I got you.
you'll see what we're talking about. All right, let's see who's hanging out with us in the chat here. We got Adrian James is here. He almost always first. And he says, "Hey, hi Adele, hi guest, cool." And of course, you were here, and you are here now, saying yo yo. Emmett is here. Emmett says, "Hey."
What's happening, everybody?
James from 20th and 21st. He says, hello, Dell and Migs and everybody. James is, I haven't seen the last couple of videos, James. I'm a binge your channel here in the next few days. He's really big on Criterion. Not sure if are you a Criterion guy?
Yeah, I got a small Criterion collection.
Compared to
I'd
James,
say
everybody
about,
has a
well,
small
let's
one.
see how many movies I got down there. I got about 15 or so.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Compared to James, everybody's a small, so it's all good. He's got
He
hundreds
got
of
the got the whole library.
pretty much. It seems like
Yeah, those are like the criterions are kind of like special occasions, or in Barnes and Noble has them on sale.
Yeah, yeah. So we all
I
get
mean,
kind
they've
of.
been putting out some good stuff though. They got some. They had some 4K. They had some 4K editions of some movies that I snagged. So
Yeah, I picked up this summer. Picked up Malcolm X. They just put that one out. That was a big one
yeah,
for me.
yeah, I got
And
that too.
Cooley High wasn't a 4K, it was a Blu-ray, but I had to pick that up.
Oh, they had that. I didn't see that in Criterion copy. I have that movie, just not. It's I have like a what do you call it? The Soul Cinema collection.
I had that. I had a,
Yeah,
DVD. So
yeah,
when they
yeah.
when they put out when they put it out, I think just this year or late last year one. So I
Oh,
had
okay.
to
Yeah, I got
get
the
that.
Shaft 4K on the Criterion.
Yeah, I grabbed that one also. Wilkie's Movies and Music says, "Hey,"
What's going on?
and Tiana is here. Tiana, she also says, "Hey." She says, "Hey, everyone."
What's happening?
Bob's Blu-rays poked in. He says, "Howdy." Bob's probably got a tournament. No, tomorrow's a tournament, so Bob might still be here. Tournament. He runs a DVD, well, physical media competition basically.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, and I took part last week. Didn't win. So, but that's all good. Spicy is here. He says, "What's up to
What's
me
going
and
on?
you and everybody in the chat?" The big dog is here. Ken, mid level media. What's going on, Ken? And
I
that
appreciate
might
all
be
y'all coming on. Hey,
absolutely.
let me ask you something. Is there a link I can post? Might be able to get some more people on.
Um, you can. I will. I'll send it to you through IG. Just a link to this stream. Let's
Okay.
see. I will. Yeah. Let me pull it up the other way. In the meantime, while we're doing that, I will go ahead and I will let you introduce the movie that you had me to watch.
Okay. All right. So I put a list of movies together for Dell. I don't remember all of them. I tried to pick some. I tried to pick some movies that weren't so high profile, a little bit low key. I hit kind of every genre. So they'll end up picking Dead Silence, or early horror thriller from James Wan. You know, if you're a horror fan, you might know that name, James Wan. You know, Conjuring, Saw, all kind of others. No, not Conjuring. Sorry, Saw movies, and he did some other stuff, but this one was an early flick. I just saw this myself. I want to say it was late last year. I didn't even really know about it. And then somebody told me like, "Oh, have you seen that one?" It was like an early flick he did. And then it was funny too because then I saw it. I saw it in the Walmart like little cheap bin. So I picked it up. I only watched it once, but it was cool from what I remember. I watched a little bit again earlier today just to try to recap so I could be fresh for the discussion. But I'm gonna have to sit down and actually watch the whole thing again. I was kind of fast forward and stuff like that. So yeah, that is the flick that I picked or that Dale picked out of the list that I gave him. So
All right. So
thought it was a good one.
let's I did send you the link to the stream in your IG,
Okay.
so you have that. So
Yeah,
quick
let me post
synopsis on
that
the
real
movie.
quick.
Yeah, go for it.
All right,
Um,
cool, cool.
so while you're doing that, I'll just give a quick synopsis of the movie. So we meet Jamie and his wife or fiance. That part I can't remember which, if they were married. Yeah, I think they just got married not long before, and they're just kind of bopping around the house doing some mundane things, and there's a knock at the door and a package is dropped off. So this movie was 2007, so this is like even before Amazon drivers would drop stuff off and just disappear. So anyway, this package shows up, they pull it in the house, and it is a huge thing. They open it up and it is a ventriloquist dummy. And bada boom, bada bing, Jamie goes out to get something to eat for them. He comes back and finds that his wife has been mutilated and murdered. And of course, with no one else around, the police are after him. Police think that he did it, and they're just trying to build a case against him. Of course, he's not out to clear his name, and it takes him back to the small town that he grew up in, and all kinds of legends and lores and all sorts of things like that. All right, so I'm going back to if you could either watching it earlier today or watching it for the first time, what were your thoughts going through your head when this they open up this box right at the beginning of this movie? Are you frozen on me? Uh-oh. Guys in the chat, let me know if he is frozen because I'm not. Up there we go. Wait. There we
Okay,
go.
there we go.
All
I think
right,
I'm back.
got it. So yeah, I was just giving a
All right,
synopsis. I
sorry.
don't know if you heard me or not, but so they get the knock in
Yeah,
this door.
yeah, I heard you. Sorry.
All right. So what you think about that the first time you saw this when they pull in this box? Where was your head going?
I mean, just based on like the cover of the movie, creepy ventriloquist doll. The hands all creepy anyway, and just dolls are just creepy. The thing just sitting there looking at you. You're
Aren't
like,
they?
okay. You already know something gonna happen. So it
Yeah.
was just like
Yeah.
now the what part is like, oh, and then when that happened, it was like, oh, like all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't
Exactly.
expecting that.
No, not the part where and I'm trying not to spoil the end of the movie for people who haven't seen it, but I mean some things along the way we can definitely talk about. So what we really find out is that she's missing a tongue, and they kind of her mouth is kind of carved to look like a dummy, and so that was a pretty big surprise to me. And what I did like though, I like the way they showed what happened to her because I mean, one thing I worry about with doll movies is how goofy it's gonna look when the doll starts moving around and starts doing stuff. But the way they shot it, where you can barely see the doll, that was cool for me. All right. My guy's having a little bit of internet issues, so while he is, I'm just gonna run through the chat a little bit. Looks like or I'm not sure if he's back or not.
A bit.
All right, you back? You kind of cutting in and out on me. All right, Bruce Leroy is here. Bruce Leroy. I just got your movie in the mail today. I'm gonna open that up. Make a video opening that up. Can you hear me, Migs? Can you hear me?
Yep. Hello.
Yep, I'm here. Can
All
you hear
right, I
me?
got you. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right.
Yep. I can hear you.
You got it.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, Bruce
All
Leroy's in the
right.
chat. I just telling Bruce Leroy that I got the Bruce Leroy movie in the mail today. Got a 4K of that. I'm gonna unbox that
What's
sometime.
up, Bruce Leroy?
All right. So yeah, what I was saying was I really like the way they showed the dummy. Well, not the dummy, but with the way they showed that first kill, because I worry about dummies, looking all goofy, dummies and dolls looking all goofy when they start doing stuff in the movies. And I thought the way they shot it, where you can kind of barely see him, I thought that worked really, really well. That was a high point, one of the high points for me. I'm not sure if that was for you also or not.
Yeah, I mean, I like like I said, for the doll being creepy and just kind of the way they showed it, and just like it, throughout the scenes where it was just kind of give you that stare, right? It's like,
Mhm.
it's already bugged out anyway. With those big eyes. I don't
Yes,
know. To me, I've always thought dolls are just creepy anyway. They just look creepy.
yeah, especially ventriloquist dummies that are so big, and then those other big dolls, and my I have daughters and they're grown now, but when they were little, they had some dolls, and they're just staring at you with those dead eyes, and
Mm.
they're playing with them as kids, and I'm looking at this thing going,
The Bratz dolls.
They had some of those. They had some
The
Bratz
Bratz dolls
dolls.
with the eyes that was like this big. Like, no, I'm
Yeah.
good on
Then they just
that.
had regular baby dolls before that when the where eyes were real big, but they got that dead stare in them. They not they like hell there's nothing there. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so we get going with the story and the it turns into more of a kind of police procedural than I was expecting. I was expecting more straight up horror. So I don't know how you felt about that, or if you remembered quite that.
I mean, because old dude was in the movie. He was in he was in a couple of the Saw movies too. So I was like, okay, he went back. He uses this guy a lot. The Wahlberg dude.
Donnie
Because I
Donnie
seen
Wahlberg.
yeah, because like I said, I seen like most of the Saw stuff before I seen this movie, and so I didn't mind it. I just thought, like you said, this movie wasn't really scary. Like it had the horror element. It was more creepy than anything. Like you say, with the it had the cop in there, kind of doing his thing. So it was like, all right, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. He felt almost comic reliefish,
Yeah, because okay, I'm
just a
I'm gonna just
tad. Maybe it
I'm,
wasn't like overly or anything. I don't know. It just kind of felt like a bit of a goof.
yes, definitely. Okay, I'm glad you bought it. You bought it there because I kind of got the one thing that kept pulling me out this movie was his character shaving no matter where he was. He's always shaved. He
Yeah,
had the
see that
winter
like that.
everywhere
It
he
was
went.
like a it was kind of like a silly thing. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like in most movies, that guy would eat something. Like the dude in Fast and Furious, he's always got like popcorn or peanuts or something, and he's eating. And you see that in a lot of
Mm.
movies. And it's silly, but I can deal with it. He's this guy. He just pops out his razor and it's he starts nibbling his
Yeah, it
stuff
was like
everywhere he
okay.
is. So I was kind of set up. I'm like, okay, this razor is going to take him out somehow, and that didn't. Small spoiler that didn't happen. So I was disappointed with that.
Yeah, but they showed it. They showed it at the end. It was like a little,
Yeah,
like by his body, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, who came up with this? Is it written that way really, or did the director just pick that, or did Donnie Wahlberg say, "Hey, I got something cool I'm gonna do"? Who's responsible for this?
We got to remember it's early James Wan.
True, true. But I mean, Saw had been out by this point, though, right?
Yeah, I think a few of them.
Yeah,
I'd have to actually look again. Let me see. Let me
yeah. I
look at
think
this.
Saw was like
It's
early
box
two
score. I think
thousands.
got the year. So this movie came out when?
'07.
Yeah, it was 607. So yeah, by that point, there was a few. So it was actually it was written by James Wan and Leigh Whannell, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that he did they've done a few movies together, like him,
Yeah,
and then what's the other movie he did? I think he did
Lee Wanell's
Upgrade.
done quite a few movies.
Yeah, he did. So he directed Upgrade. You ever seen Upgrade?
Upgrade is good. Yes.
Yeah, so like those kind. So like you can see some there's like similarities there, especially like with the gore and stuff, and even like the face gore. Like there's a lot of that in these movies. Like his movies got that face gore, like with the victims there, and then even
Right.
in the Upgrade movie, there was a lot of people's like face getting mangled and stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
common amongst them. But yeah, I like their films. I think he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
He's done. I think he's done some stuff with Blumhouse too.
Yeah, he did. Like they were both involved with like the Insidious movies. Did he
Okay,
direct
okay, yeah, yeah.
Insidious? Yeah, James
Yeah,
Wan directed
I just
Insidious.
watched those too. I've been sitting on those for a while, so I finally watched that series.
Yeah, they. I know Wan directed the first one for sure. I'm not sure about the others, and a few of the Saw movies, The Bye Bye Man. Uh,
Okay.
so Lee Wanell's had his hand in a lot of stuff. Even if he didn't direct, he's writing and
Right, right. Yeah, he writes a lot of stuff. So yeah, they got they seem like they got their little clique. They doing their thing.
yeah, yeah, and a lot of it I do like. So I'm cool with that. Um,
Yeah.
Now, Wahlberg was definitely he was the kind of comic relief for the whole deal, and my guy in the lead, he was he was interesting. I wouldn't say he was the strongest actor, but he did
Nah,
just enough to be okay, kind of sort of. Um, the
it
best
wasn't
actors in the
bad, but it
movie
was
were at
like
the end. Yeah, yeah. So for
it
me,
was
the
like
best
okay.
actors in the movie were back in the town where he had to go to find all the little side characters. I really liked all
All the
those.
old heads.
Yeah, yeah, they were pretty good. They were pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna just see if anybody has seen Dead Silence out here, or have anyone new popped in. Adrian said he's channel hopping, so there's a couple of different streams going on, and that's all good. Holland Oates is here. What's going on, Holland? He says hey to us, and we got some people saying hey back and forth to each other. So yeah, if anybody
Yeah.
has seen Dead Silence, let us know in the chat if you have any thoughts on it. And Emmett always has a question, so that's the next thing that question. And his random question today is, "What's your thoughts on the Punisher movies? Have you seen all the Punisher movies?
Yes,
What do you think of them?"
I own them all. I'm a big Marvel geek.
Well, me too.
So
Me too.
here's my little superhero corner here. But yeah, so as far as the Punisher movies,
What's
I'm
your favorite one?
biased.
Okay.
Warzone.
Same.
I
Same.
mean, Warzone just goes hard. It matches the Warzone comics. Like I was a big fan of those as a kid. I used to read those like in the early '90s, Punisher, Warzone, and then Spider Man. Those are like my big comics. I'm not really. I kind of fell off on Punisher and reading comics over the years, but Warzone goes hard. I got the Steelbook, the 4K Steelbook.
Yeah, I
R.I.P.
grabbed that
to
also.
R.I.P. to my man Stevenson.
Yeah,
That
I
sucked,
grabbed
but
that one also.
yeah, that dude. Yeah, he went hard as a Punisher. I mean, I like I like Thomas Jane's Punisher. He wasn't bad. I even like the Dolph Lundgren, even though that
Mhm.
I don't know, that didn't really feel like a Punisher movie, but it was okay for it was a little action movie for back in the day. Had the name, had the little skull or whatever, so it was fine.
Yeah,
The
yeah. Do you like the
I
Netflix show?
like the I want to see my man John Bernthal get his own joint.
Yeah, because the
He
the
went
TV
hard in the
show is good.
series, man.
Series was
Yeah,
good.
that dude was tough as Punisher.
Hmm.
And I got to give it up. I got to give it up for my man Frank Grillo because he was unofficially the Punisher in the Purge 2. So
Okay.
you can't tell me that wasn't the Punisher.
I was wondering where you were going when you said Frank Grillo. I was like, wait a minute, did he play the Punisher?
Not look. Hey, watch the Purge Anarchy. That dude was the
Yeah,
Punisher in that
yeah,
movie.
that's my
All right.
favorite of the Purge movies, also. So yeah, I understand.
Yeah, that dude was
Yeah,
the Punisher. So
he was. When you put it that way, yeah, I get it. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
I always joke about that because like when just watching the movie, it was like, man, this dude is the Punisher. He got the vehicle. He got the whole backstory. He got the gunplay down. Like this
Yeah,
dude going
that
in.
makes sense. Yeah, like I said, I
He had
hadn't
the
thought of that.
look.
Yeah, you got it. All
Yeah,
right, Holland, Dead Silence with Donnie Wahlberg. I've seen it, didn't like it.
didn't like it. Oh, you didn't like it?
Didn't like
How
it.
come you didn't like it? Did you see it? Did you see it in the theater or did you watch it later?
Go ahead, Holland. Let us know if you saw it in the theater or somewhere else later on. All right, and he's also just saying hi to some other people. And Tiana, she says she has seen Dead Silence, but didn't say whether she likes it or not. Tiana, let us know. Did you like
Did you like
Dead
it?
Silence, or is it a thumbs down? Hmm. All right. So I'm gonna say this: the movie's kind of going along, and it was kind of meandering for me a little bit, and then the end happens, the third act, or really the last half of the third act, and that won me back.
Yeah.
And without spoiling the twist, if you can, how did you feel about the ending as opposed to the rest of the movie? Did it elevate it, or was it just kind of where you thought things were going? Or
I I was good with it. I mean, I think it closed the movie nicely. And I was just like, okay. Like, oh, oh, oh. All right then. Yeah, because you can when it comes to horror movies, I'm not big on happy endings. I like
Okay.
those messed up. I like the bad guys win, that kind of stuff. So this I think this one, like I said, I think it closed off stuff. You get to see some cool things and some creepy stuff in the end, and it's like, oh, all right, bet.
Yeah, yeah,
And for a cheap movie bin purchase, I'm good with that. Like I said, I didn't even know about this movie, so I didn't see it in the theater. But I would have, if this would have been something that I probably would have went and watched like on a cheap day or something and been fine with
right.
it too. Wouldn't have
Yeah, I
spent a whole
didn't.
bunch of money to go see it, but
Yeah, I didn't know. I not that I didn't know about it because I had heard about it a little bit. I knew it was about a dummy, and then every once in a while when horror stuff comes up, I just saw that the dummy on like the posters
mm,
online. You just come across it, so I'm like, it looks interesting, but I never watched it. And then so when I got the opportunity, I was like, yeah, let me check this out. Um, but it was but yeah, that ending for me took the movie up a notch for sure. That's where I
yeah,
am with
yeah,
that one.
I like the ending. I was good with that.
All right.
Thought that was cool.
Holland saw it at this year at home, so he
Oh,
saw it
okay.
this year. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, that's the nothing wrong with that.
Right.
From it didn't do great in the theater anyway. At least not box office wise from what I saw. And the horror movies normally ain't cranking in like huge numbers. I mean, you have your exceptions here and there,
Right.
but this one though, I think they only made. I think the box office was like 22 million, but the budget was like 20 million. So
Was it that
yeah,
high? I would.
unless I read that wrong, or maybe it was 2 million. I don't know. I'd have to go
Okay.
back and look again. I
I
just know
mean,
that
I
they
don't.
didn't. It didn't do fantastic box office wise, but
Yeah. The thing with.
people it found an audience, or it found its a cult audience later.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. The
there's
thing with
people into it.
horror
Like I said, I think what his stuff, they people appreciate the early stuff.
more
His
now.
early stuff more now
Yeah.
because he's kind of blown up some. So maybe some of those movies or some of those things that people didn't really see, they've gone back after and said, okay,
Okay, so yeah, the thing with horror is you don't really expect big numbers, but it's what was that budget because that's why there's so many horror movies because they keep turning a profit because usually the budgets aren't
right,
that high. So I was kind of surprised when you said 20 million just from looking at it. And I was like, okay, then I was thinking about names in it, and Donnie Wahlberg's not like a multi-million-dollar movie star
no, they had a
name,
couple of people, but
and
yeah,
yeah,
I have to go back and look at that figure again. I might be wrong there. I just know that it didn't pull in a lot at the box office. It wasn't a huge return, so it was just that's a that's a failure in those
right.
in that talk right there. But I mean, not I don't think it's a I didn't think it's a horrible movie or anything. I mean, I've seen worse horror movies.
So that's just the reason why there's not a dead silence too. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I bet you though, if they wanted to, they could, just because of
Sure.
their status now with those two together. I bet if they really wanted to, they could probably churn something out themselves and just fund it on their own. I mean, they
Oh,
kind of
I'm
did with
sure.
this one anyway.
Yeah, yeah. They just redirected it into something else.
Yeah, I mean, because like even like okay, maybe it did do maybe it did do a good amount at the box office to get it, but like the Annabelle movies, for instance, right? I don't think those are great.
Hmm.
I think one of them out of the three are good, but yet they made more, and it was just like okay. So I had to like go back and look at that because it's like, well, they're okay, but why do they keep making more of these?
Yeah, it's that whole they built up that whole Conjuring universe, so it's all tied in together. So
Yeah, I mean that's probably why people are watching them. But I'm just like Yeah, y'all don't need to make any more Annabelles because they're not really that good.
I liked Annabelle Creation. I think that was the one
Yeah,
that was
that was
good.
the best one. That was
Yeah,
the best one.
that
The
was
other
good.
two, eh. And then
Yeah,
the
exactly.
and I was disappointed in the one where they had the people from The Conjuring in that movie because I was like, okay, they bringing them all together. This is gonna go hard.
Right,
Nope.
right.
It was
But
like,
then again, I didn't like The Conjuring 3 either. So
oh, the devil made me do it. Yeah,
yeah,
I fell asleep on that one in the theater. I had to watch it again.
yeah,
I
I can
didn't
understand.
I didn't hate it, but it just I don't know. It was kind of boring.
It was
Yeah, it
because
was just
I'm
kind of I don't
marking
know.
right
I
there.
don't, I don't know what happened. It
Oh, I've
was just
forgotten
kind of
all of
boring.
it. Yeah, I've
I
forgotten
mean,
all of
I watched it again, but yeah, yeah. I don't
it.
know.
I'm with you.
What's going
Larry,
on,
what's
Laren?
going on? Says what's up, and he says hey to Tiana and to Holland, and we got the monkeys also here. What's going on, monkey? And he has a comment. He said, "I love the last minute of Dead Silence. The best part, if you ask me. 4K is a must just for that ending." Hmm. So he's riding
Yeah,
hard for the ending right there.
I like the ending, but I don't know if that's going to justify that 4K purchase for me.
Some of these horror
Just
movies that are getting, why not?
just because I don't yeah. I don't know if I could I don't know if I could go from like 399 cheap bin to 4K.
Right.
And hey, look, I love 4Ks. Don't get me wrong. I got plenty of them. I just that movie right there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I ain't
Well,
knocking it. If you get it, do your thing. And I seen what was it? I think Scream Factory released that because they've been doing all like the horror movies and those. I got a couple of them, but
mhm.
they're mostly cash grabs.
Oh yeah. And well, like you said though, this movie's got a cult following, so if they put it out there,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna buy it.
Oh
That's for
yeah, I ain't mad at it. I just like with stuff like that. Sometimes I feel like y'all they get over because it's like with the 4K release and like the amount they charge. Y'all should give more to the fans. It should have some of those movies should have more stuff with them.
you preaching to the choir.
But
That's all.
yeah, like I said, we still buy them though. I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
still.
I bought 4Ks and I'm like I don't know why I bought this in 4K because it wasn't really necessary.
Yeah, I've got a few of those. It's all good. The monkey says the newest Fantastic Four film only made 167.9 million. Not sure why exactly we're talking about the Fantastic Four, and I'm guessing you're talking about Fan Four Stick, and that it made that
Are you
much.
talking about the
Busy.
one with you talking about the one with Michael Jordan?
That's the last one. So
Oh my, that made that much? Why? Oh my gosh.
just because of the name,
Ugh.
but the
I'm
budget
I'm
on there
I'm
was probably higher than that though.
I'm a
Hold on.
bad person because I contributed to that total. I had to see it once just because. I mean, I had to see it for myself. People were like, based on everything going into it, I'm not even watching this movie, but I'm like, okay, well, oh my gosh, why?
Because I'm a superhero nut completist like you. So
Woo, yeah. That one is not gracing my superhero corner, and I
it's
think I
in
got a
there.
couple of duds in there, but that one, I can't do it. I just can't. I
I
can't do it.
wouldn't have, but that was matter of fact, that was another Big Lots purpose. It was $3. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
I'll
I,
guess
I
that's it.
got I got X Men Origins in there somewhere, but ugh.
Oh yeah, got that one too. Got that one too.
I only
Yeah,
have that because it came with the set. I wouldn't have bought that like on its own.
I that was another. I think I found it at did I find that one at a thrift store? I can't remember. All right, Monkey says if they re-release My Grandpa's a Vampire on high definition, they should have no problem giving us that on 4K. So yeah, he's saying since they put out that movie on 4K, why not Dead Silence? I understand.
I never seen that one. My grandpa is a vampire. I have to
I've
check
never
that out.
seen that one either. They just put out My Best Friend is a Vampire on Vestron, but that's a Blu-ray. Or is it 4K? I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah. I got a couple of the Vestron releases.
yeah, yeah. So I
They're
did
starting
pick
to have
that
more
one.
of that stuff at Walmart.
Yeah, they put them. They get like 3 or 4 copies, and
Yeah.
then they sit there for months. And Slowly somebody buys them. I
I'm
get
thinking
one,
about
and
getting that. I seen the what was it? It was I think it was Vestron, the Wishmaster collection.
yes,
I
yes,
think I
that is.
seen that at Walmart. It wasn't that expensive? I've only seen the first Wishmaster. I didn't really. That was a series I didn't really get into. I seen the first movie,
We're
but
the
I
same. I
might
saw the
buy that
first
and
one.
watch them. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw the first one years ago, and I've not watched
Yeah,
any of
same
the other
here.
ones. Yeah.
It used
All
to
right.
come on Cinemax all the time. I remember that.
Yeah. Wow. Cinemax. Whew.
The old Cinemax.
Cinemax.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get ready to put this movie to bed. I'm just gonna give my overall thoughts since it was my very first time watching this movie. Um, like I said, I was expecting more horror than I got. It turned into kind of detective movie after that police procedure, not police procedure, but he was just trying to figure things out, and that was cool. But it was just kind of meandering and not really doing a whole lot. And then the end happens, and the third act was really good, and then the twist at the end brought me back around. So I would say overall, I give the movie a pass. I like the movie. It's just not something that I'm gonna be like, oh, you gotta watch this, unless somebody's like, hey, you see what's something with a crazy twist? And I'm like, check out that silence. We have to watch that. So that's where I am on on that movie. So
I dig it, man.
all right, let's see if anybody had any other thoughts about Dead Silence before we move on. And oh, okay, there we go. There we go. So the monkey says, I mentioned Fantastic Four when he was talking low numbers of the Annabelle films. So he was just
Oh, I
stream of
got you.
thought with numbers. That's what's
I got
happening
you.
there.
That look, that Fantastic Four movie didn't deserve that much at all. That was horrible.
It didn't. It did not. It did not. So Mel is here from My Killer Podcast. What's up, Killer? He says,
What's
hey, hey,
going
what's
on?
good? Thank you for
What's
hanging out
happening?
with us, Mel. I had Mel on stream. She was the first person on this platform, actually, the EV Mux that we're looking at, and we had a fun time just trying to get online that night. But we had a good show. So
Oh, I
I'm
meant to ask you. So I posted the YouTube link. Does that work? Can
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
watch
For
that live?
people who are coming to watch it, yes, the
Okay,
EV
cool.
Mux is just for you to be on the show.
Got you. Got you.
So you are all good. Holland says, I agree. I wanted more horror than I got. So yeah, that's where we stand. All right, so let's go ahead and switch gears. We're completely out of horror thriller area, and we're gonna go into the movie that I had you watch. And I'm just gonna go big for a second so that everybody can see the movie that I had you watch, and that was New Jersey Drive. I don't think my man Nick is in the chat tonight. He's a truck driver that works late hours, so I'm gonna make sure I let him know that we talking New Jersey Drive because it's one of his favorite movies. And in this film, this was kind of on the tail end of the 90s hood movie era. See, as you see on the cover, Spike Lee produced it. He didn't direct it, he produced it. Nick Gomez directed. And the guy on the cover is Jason. I almost called him Jamie from the other movie. We got Jason here and his buddy, they call him Midget, though he's definitely not a midget. They call him Midget. And they're teenagers, high school kids, and they are also car boosters. They make their money robbing cars, taking them up, taking them to chop shops and what have you. And then they also do a lot of joyriding with these cars. And we meet them, they're already fully into this. This is not like we meet them and figure out and learn how they got into it. They already into it. And cops are, whole task force pretty much is after them. And you get to see their kind of day to day life, which includes a lot of running from the cops, and the cops doing a lot of wrongdoings also. So, like right at the beginning of the movie, we get a one of the kids is shot by the cops, and should he have been arrested? Sure. Should he have been shot? Not if you if you're watching the movie. So that's just kind of the setup for New Jersey Drive. Jason is our main character that we're riding with. He's also in juvie at the beginning, and then he kind of backtracks through the rest of the story, tells you what happened, how you got to that point, one of those kind of deals. All right, so New Jersey Drive. So you said you had never, so you'd never seen this before. Um,
I seen part of it.
okay,
Now, after remember, after watching it, but never anything past like maybe 5 minutes. I just
okay,
remember some of the people in the movie. So
okay. So how we get that opening scene? Not well, not the opening, but we get that opening that I was talking about with the first uh killing from the cops. The one, well, not killing. Well, they shot the kid,
mhm.
and did you have any idea where we were going after that, or what did you think was what was happening at that point?
Well, I mean, yeah, because they kind of, I mean, they kind of set it up because it was like they asked the one car, "Hey, that's your car, right?" You're like, "Yeah, that's mine." So I was like, "Oh, I was like, they done stole a cop's car. They about to get it.
Hmm. Hmm.
They waiting for y'all."
Yeah,
I didn't realize that he got shot though until he was like, "Oh, they shot me." I thought they got out, but I was like, "Oh, they about to get y'all anyway." But they
yeah,
didn't get him, so I was kind of surprised at that because it seemed like they was gonna box him in or whatever. But yeah, I, that was that was interesting to say the least.
yeah. It was definitely interesting. And so going through the movie, and now I'm gonna put you in the mode of a parent for a minute. How you handling Jason?
Yeah, okay, so all right, that aspect of the movie was kind of weird to me because it seemed like his mom was like a bit nonchalant about this whole thing. It seemed like the little stepdad dude was like, wait, like, hey, like you gotta stop this. This dude is wilding out. He going to jail all the time. We gotta do something. And she like, okay. And then he like, oh, you ain't my daddy. And I'm like, oh, hold up, yo. And she just kind of, I don't know. They seem real casual that this dude is like a high schooler and he getting locked up every other week by a task force that know that they boosting cars. And it's like, I don't know. That just seemed a bit off. I mean, for me, it's like, nah, like, look, you, I don't know. It seemed like to me, you need a little bit more severe consequences. I
Uh
mean,
huh. Uh huh.
it's the early or it's the kind of mid '90s, so I guess it's easier to jack cars then. But I don't know, man. I just looking at myself growing up, ain't no way. You got the
So
beat down.
now the way I read it, and this comes from partly from just experience with my family and other people. I read it like mom was about ready to throw her hands up. She didn't know what to do anymore. So she kind of had, her husband or the stepdad kind of, she told him like to go talk to him, but she really didn't know what to do. It was like, he's just not listening to me anymore. So she was like, the next thing for me is just going to be to rein in the daughter as much as possible. But then, as we saw, she kind of even let that go
Right.
later on in the movie. So I understand that, and I just kind of wanted to see what your thought process was on that aspect of it. Um, were his crew really friends? Was him and Midget really friends?
Yeah, I mean, I think even though they were, they doing stuff to get themselves in trouble, but he still had that bond with his homies. I mean, those were his homies. Y'all, even though y'all doing wrong stuff, y'all breaking the law and all that, those were still his homies. Now, as the movie progresses, and then when things happen, that changes a little bit, but you never really see the full magnitude of that. You see it a little bit because it's kind of when he gets out when what's his name, Jason gets out from the time towards the end where he's like, okay, got locked up. He was got locked up for a while. It wasn't like, oh, you just locked up for a little while or you getting out the next night kind of deal.
Right,
At that point, when things change, especially in the neighborhood, because you could even see there, people just instead of jacking cars when nobody's in them, they robbing at gunpoint now. Like,
right,
oh, I
right.
mean, he told them too though, because he was like, yo, the hood doesn't change, bro. Like, it's getting real crazy out here. Like, look, these little dudes got guns out here now. They ain't taking empty cars. And then what happened? Bam, he seen that full frontal right in his face.
Yep.
But I don't know. It was just like they had like a uneasy little thing going. Because remember when they kind of got into it, and he was like, oh, okay, little homie, I see you. He's like, oh, you bucked up. He's like, okay, I like that. I like that. And it was
Hmm.
like, ooh, this ain't cool.
No.
So something happened from when he got locked up, and then things changed, and then kind of midget had like he was running his own crew at that point, and it was a little different because you see, dude wasn't running with him no more. They wasn't riding together. So
Right.
something changed, but I still they was homies up in I can't even say that they wasn't really homies at that point. It was just more of I got to go on a different path, and you still doing the same old stuff. And for me,
Right.
I got something got to change here. I see
Right.
it like the writings on the wall kind of deal. I'm gonna get locked up. I'm gonna die, or the cops gonna get me. I gotta do something, man.
Right. Right.
Because that one dude, that one cop was on that dude, and like, oh, you
Constantly.
think you going?
Constantly.
Oh, like, come here, little homie. That's my little homie. Why don't you come in this room with me real quick? Lock the door, then like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. That's the one thing that stood out to me about that. It was a big reminder of how much the world has changed from the standpoint of us seeing it, because everybody doesn't have a camera phone at
right.
that point. Nobody has a camera with them. Like now, everybody has a camera at all times. So it's just a reminder of how much more was happening, in those days, because it was really just your word against the police, your
Oh
word
yeah,
your word against whoever, because there's no footage, and if there was some kind of you on some kind of camera, you wouldn't have access to it.
oh yeah.
So
I
that
mean,
was
so surveillance definitely is increased, which hey, depends on who you ask. That's a good or a bad thing, or maybe a little bit of
right,
both.
a little
Just
bit of both, I think.
realistically, but yeah,
Yeah.
like especially like the being the roundups as they called them, where they
Hmm.
just hey, you just
Hmm.
out on the street, you might not even be doing nothing, but it's bam, get up against the wall, we about to search you, we about to just bust out. What you gonna do? You know,
Yep. Exactly.
what you
Exactly.
gonna do when if a whole squad of cops run up on you, just surround you, they got the guns out, get up on the wall? What you gonna be like? Oh no, I gotta call my lawyer. Yeah, right.
Nope, no, it's not gonna happen. Especially you 16, 17 years old.
Right. Right. I ain't do nothing. That dude, like the one dude, I gotta call my lawyer. What?
Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's not happening. That's not happening. All right.
Yeah, like, you ain't
So
calling nobody.
yeah. So just kind of touching back on the whole friendship thing. And I thought an uneasy part that I wanted them to explore maybe a little bit more was the kind of loose love triangle they had going with the one girl. I can't remember her
Yeah, that
name.
was weird.
It was very weird. So I'm like, what is actually happening here? I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and it was,
I
it
mean,
was Midget's ex, but Jason was always with her, but he wasn't his girlfriend. I don't think so. I don't know. Could you pick up on any of that?
I if that whole situation felt off. Like it just felt like it was off writing. Like they probably could have did that a little bit better because it was like it wasn't really strong. It was like okay, one scene. All right, so she walking down the hall. All the dudes is jiving, hooting, hollering, yah yah yah. Okay, we got that. Then it's like okay. Then next scene, oh yeah, look, we me and you good. I was like, okay. Then the scene after that, my midget trying to holler at you. Yo, what's up? What happened back in the day?
Right,
I mean, she even called him by his real name. So I was like, oh, okay. So they known each other for a little minute. And
right.
then it was, all right, get out of jail. Now it's back to this. And then that whole thing happened. And it was just kind of then they didn't really touch on it anymore. So it was like, okay. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like to me, I felt like, but like saying that right there and just kind of how it felt like kind of, it was like just kind of peace, like peace. It wasn't really like a good flow. I kind
Hmm.
of felt like that was like kind of like how the movie was. I didn't. I felt like stuff was happening, but I felt like it didn't really have a good overall flow. I just felt that we got kind of got like pieces that were put together, you know.
Okay. Okay. That makes
So I kind of
sense.
felt like that about that whole love thing. It was just like little pieces of this that they kind of just mashed together, but it didn't. I don't know. It didn't really feel. I mean, they even like what Jason and her didn't even really feel like it was I'm like, is this supposed to be like a little romantic piece? Because it don't really feel like that.
Yeah, and I think they just never committed to what it was supposed to be. And I've seen the movie obviously, but it's been probably 20 years since I've seen it. So this is almost like a first watch for me.
Mhm.
Rewatching it this time, and I was like, yeah, that piece, that whole, all of that you just talked about was just like, yeah, that's just they needed to do something stronger, commit to it, or just take it out.
Right, right, yeah.
Something needed to happen, and that was
Yeah, I
that
mean, I
was
felt like it felt like it didn't even really need to happen. I mean, I guess for the what happened at the end, yeah, sure, but honestly, that could have happened with anybody at that point.
right,
He could have
right.
been he
It
could have
could have.
been chilling with a homie or something, you know.
Yeah, I wanted more of the brother sister relationship he had with with his sister, and then with brother sister and mom. I wanted more of that, uh, and then like you said, just maybe a little tighter flow with the rest of the story, as far as the guys in the
Yeah,
crew and doing all that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
So that yeah, I get that. Weird thing for me, I had forgotten Donald Faison was in this movie.
Hey, look, Lil Murray.
Yeah,
It's funny too because I think look that movie New Jersey Drive is what 95, right?
97, I think.
97. Yeah. See, that's isn't that after Clueless?
Probably,
Yeah, that's
probably.
crazy.
Yeah,
So it's like just kind of seeing that transition, you know. It was like,
yeah,
wait a minute, like ain't that because it's like I saw Clueless way before I saw this movie. It's just
yeah.
like, yeah, they know like, that's Murray, man. Look at this dude.
And his roles since have been more closer to Clueless than this, for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, definitely comedy and stuff. I mean, because it like so it's like his movies. I remember him. You got Clueless. What? Remember the Titans. What else?
Uh, Waiting to Exhale, he was in.
I think he was in. I think he's in Kick Ass. Either Kick Ass one or two. He's in one of those.
Okay, and of course everybody knows Scrubs.
Yeah. See, I know Scrubs. I didn't watch it, but yeah, I didn't. I know he was in that for like a while. And then
Yeah,
he had the little cameo in Juice too.
yes, right. He did. I almost forgot about that. He
But
did.
yeah, but yeah,
Um,
yeah.
just
It was
looked it
just
up.
it was
Those
funny
were
seeing him in this movie. This dude was all gangster and all
yeah, yeah. He's
thugged
doing his
out
rap and all
carjacking.
now. I was like, wait a minute, that's him. What is he
Lil
doing here?
Murray.
Yeah, they were both 95, Clueless and New Jersey Drive,
Oh
both 90.
wow, see, that's kind of wild. Same year.
Same year. So he went from one extreme to the
All
other.
right,
Went
yeah,
from,
got the extreme going on. Went from New Jersey to Beverly Hills. Okay,
yeah,
Murray,
brother had
Murray.
range. brother had range. I like it. I like it. All right. So let's see. We're just hanging out right now. Well, we're just Mel talking to Holland, saying hi to Holland. All right. What about Jason, the guy that played Jason as an actor? What do you think of him?
He wasn't bad. I
Wasn't
think
bad.
I feel like I've seen him on other stuff, but I'd have to go back and look his name up and see. But in this movie, I don't, think it was fine for what his role is. I don't think it was bad. I think
Okay.
everybody did, I think everybody with their roles was all right. I just think some of the writing for the movie was kind of weird.
Okay. I just looked him up. He actually only other film credit that I can see is The Substitute, which is
The
interesting.
substitute with Tom Berenger, right?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, okay, yeah, okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Because like I said, his face looked familiar, and I was like, I know I've seen him in something else. I haven't seen the substitute in a long time, but
Right.
yeah, that sounds. And I think what year was that? That was
Uh,
around the same time too, wasn't it? Like 96, 97,
the Substitute, 1996.
96. Okay, yeah, see, around the same time. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that sounds about right. I haven't seen those
So
movies in forever. That's
no,
funny. They used to come on Cinemax all the time too.
all the time. I think I saw the first two. I think those only two I saw. I know there's like 4 or 5 of them or
Yeah, there's
something
like
crazy.
5 or 6 of them joints. Yeah, because
Yeah.
whatchamacallit started. He did them after the first one. What's Buddy's name? Um, Treat Williams, I think.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the
Yeah,
name. Yes, Treat Williams.
yeah. Treat
Yeah.
Williams was the yeah. And I think he plays like the same guy. I just think Tom Berenger just did the one and done.
Yeah, Treat Williams. He
So
was always the great value version of something.
that's funny. But yeah, like I said, dude, the cast, Jason, everybody else, I think they were fine in their roles. Like this movie to me, it kind of felt more like one of those old school made for TV movies. Like, you know, not a big production. You don't got the acting is not horrible, but it's not fantastic either.
Right.
Yeah. Not to say that it didn't feel real. It was just kind of like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what
yeah.
you mean.
Like I
You
don't know.
know.
I thought just kind of reading the synopsis and then seeing what it was. I was expecting a little bit. I don't know, maybe something different. Like I expected. I don't know. I guess I was expecting more thrills and stuff, more chases and all that, like more car chases and things. And not to
Okay.
say I wanted this to be some crazy car chase movie. I just thought there would be a little bit more of that, just how it was described, and then with the run-ins with the cops and all that stuff. They didn't really have. I mean, they had some, but they didn't really have. You know,
Right. It wasn't Fast and Furious, that's for sure.
no, no, definitely not. Now, and not to say I was expecting that. I just thought, like I said, I thought from the synopsis that maybe you would see a little bit more, just a little bit, maybe a little bit more chases, just
Mhm.
kind of. I don't know. They showed a lot of the joyrides, like you said, and it's just the kind of they had the whole little jack in the cars and stuff. But they don't like with the comps. They were just kind of really showing them when they already had them kind of like pinned down. They were already
Right.
watching them already. Like y'all, okay, we just waiting for y'all to make the move, and we about to get y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. The cops, it was weird because they had one cop, of course, that they kept showing, and he was like on
Hmm.
him all the time. He was a character, but the rest of the cops really weren't. They were just
Yeah.
kind of the cops. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So it and like in a lot of movies, you would get you have a couple of cops at least, and even if we had a bad one like we had in this movie, then there would be one that was really trying to kind of figure things out and work the case
Yeah.
legitimately.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that at all. So the takeaway for me is like, okay, we're just making it, the cops is just a bad entity in and of itself.
Basically.
Right. And I mean there's you can have that conversation and have that debate. But when it comes to the movie, it was another one of those things where I think the movie just didn't commit to something. And same thing happened with Midget when they gave him that serious beat down and he, got knocked out and he woke up and then all of a sudden he was kind of he was trigger happy and a
Hey,
little crazy.
yo, that made me crack up. Because first of all, I thought dude was dead. I was like, oh, they killed him because they was
Yes,
all.
so did I. I was like, okay,
I was like, yeah,
he's
he dead. I was like,
a
we gonna
veteran.
come around that corner and he dead. My man just had a fat lip. I was like, wait a minute, what they do to him? I was like, okay, did
Yeah,
they break his? I was like, he ain't gonna be able to walk, right? He gonna look up and see his leg broken or something like that. Something gonna be jacked up. Nope. My man got up,
walked away.
found the 40,
Found the 40.
found the 40, and poured some out for the homie real quick, and
Yep.
then
Kept on
went
going.
to work. And bruh, I was dying. I was dying when that happened. I was like, no, this dude didn't find the 40 and then poured some out for the homies and then started guzzling.
Yep.
I'm like, hold up,
And
man, what the cops do to him? I'm like, did they beat him up? Did y'all
I
do
was
something
I
else
was
to
doing
him?
the same thing. I was looking at his face, and I was like,
Yeah,
okay, maybe it might be a little bit swollen around here, maybe,
yeah.
but we didn't do enough with the makeup here. We
I mean, that's all he did. He had a fat lip, and the way they
yes,
the way they
exactly.
implied it, y'all had that man in a circle beat down, and then the other
Yeah,
cop came was like, "Ooh, I want some." So I was that's why I was like, "Oh, this dude dead." I'm
yeah.
like, "He dead for
That's what.
real?"
Yeah.
Nope, he wasn't dead. Yeah, I'm
If
like,
he's
they
a,
just smacked him around.
if he's alive, I'm expecting him to be like unrecognizable pretty much when he when
Yeah,
he
jacked
gets
up.
up.
He
Yeah.
wasn't even jacked up. I was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they." they what y'all do? Y'all must have did something nasty to him that didn't involve like physical.
Yeah,
Maybe they peed
yeah,
on him or something. I don't know.
yeah. He was dirty. Yeah, he was dirty. I guess
Right,
that's about
yeah.
it.
But my man got up, found the 40, and was like, wait, hold on. Pulled it out the bag, was like, yeah.
Yeah, like it didn't break. It didn't break. Free
Right.
40.
Didn't break.
Yeah,
What? And I think he was drinking like OE or
it
something,
was definitely
or
was
some St.
OE.
Ives.
No, it was Oli. I know the label from back in the day
Yeah,
too much. So yeah,
my man.
it,
Look,
it
it
was
had to
tough.
be warm because that was like at least 3 hours later.
Oh, easy, easy.
My man drank the warm beer.
And
Poured
with
some out
Oli,
for the homies and drank the warm beer.
yep. And
After
with
the cops.
Oli though, it's like gasoline when it's cold. So I can imagine.
Man,
I
yeah,
don't know. I
that
don't know
scene
if you've ever
that
had
scene was a
Oli.
trip. I got a good laugh out of that. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that definitely didn't happen the way I thought it was going.
No, 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 no. Like I don't know if you've ever had Oli, but it is not a good tasting thing. That
Yeah, I mean that was I look that was cheap beer. It used to cost those like you can get like a 40 of that for like $1.70.
oh yeah. Oh, but sure. I remember you can get it for $1. You
Ugh.
can get that big
All it do is make you
12 ounce beer
pee.
for $1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just made you pee every 5 minutes drinking
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of thing.
it had more alcohol in it than a regular beer. That's the deal.
Yeah.
So it's a cheap drunk. That's for sure. All right. So we finally get to the end of the movie. Well, no, actually I have one other thing I wanted to ask you about. I'm not a guy who generally likes narration. I think most of the time they use narration is done terribly. But I thought in this movie, I will say that I thought the narration was done pretty good because they didn't tell you what you just saw over and over and over and over, or what you're about to see over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you picked up on that or if you didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I mean, I I think it was more of Jason's thoughts. I mean, I wouldn't even really look at that as narration. It was just more
Mhm.
thoughts here and there. He kind of like, all right, I'm thinking out loud, but I need the audience to hear it too, kind of deal. Because it wasn't like throughout the whole movie. He just had his little spots. So no, it was fine.
Right, right. Okay,
It was
okay.
fine.
All right. And let's go ahead. Oh, we got one more person popped in here. Caveman popped in and he said, I'm sorry I'm late, been sick. Well, I hope you feel
Oh,
better. Thanks for
hope you
coming
feel
out,
better,
Caveman.
caveman.
Absolutely.
Take that sick leave if you got it.
Yeah. Caveman lately on Instagram a couple weeks back, I guess, he started posting a joke of the day every day.
Mhm.
And I think he found some of my old books. I used to have these books called Truly Tasteless Jokes. And I swear these are some of the same jokes from back in the day. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but some of them were pretty good, some of them were pretty bad. But go ahead, Caveman, keep posting those. Some 'cause he's had some pretty good ones. All right. So let's go ahead and get to just your overall thoughts on the movie. If there's anything I didn't touch on that you wanted to touch on, you can mention that, and just how if you liked it or didn't like it, or which way you leaning.
Yeah, it was so it wasn't bad. Like you said, 90s hood flick, I I seen some elements of juice in it, a little bit here and there, but nothing I would say overall like trying to bite or anything. It had his own style, had his own flavor to it. I just think it didn't have that great of a flow. The characters were fine. It's kind of like I said, you got the homeboys, you got your homies, got that kind of camaraderie, but you see how things change and doing criminal activity, get yourself into trouble. Some of the homies end up dying. So it's just kind of one of those, it's like one of those sad stories kind of deal. But I just, it wasn't a bad movie. This is just isn't something I see myself like going out to buy.
Okay.
I've rented it on Amazon, so I got the little 48-hour rental thing.
Right.
But you know, I probably wouldn't buy it. Then I've seen it at this point. Would I watch it again? Yeah, I'd watch it again if it was on. But I don't see myself running out to be like, oh, I got to watch New Jersey Drive again.
I got you.
Wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and that's not a bad thing. I just, maybe I had some notions in my head of how stuff was going to go,
Okay.
but it didn't.
Okay.
Which is, like I said, it's fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
Not a terrible movie. Like I said, I'd give it, I'd give it two and a half stars out of five.
Okay. I'd go a little higher, but not much higher. And it's one of those things where we like we talked about at the beginning, where you watch a movie and you have one reaction, and then you watch it again, you have a different one. And I still like the movie, but I don't like it as much as I did. It's
Yeah,
like you're rewatching it all these years later, and I don't know how many movies that I've watched in between. So you kind of grow as a viewer and think more critically of things, and so it's one of those where I like the movie still, but it's not one that I'm like elevating up to the top tiers of hood movies even. But it was
yeah,
but it,
yeah. I mean, because there's definitely better ones and ones that have this one has that serious tone to it, like you said, as far as that cinematic element and it having a real good flow and great writing. There's definitely ones that are you know,
yeah, it's the story, the idea for the story is great, but they needed better writing to flesh it out
yeah, yeah.
better.
Because
'Cause-
I've never heard of that director until now, and it's kind of I I don't I hate when like they have they have a producer who's also a director and they put them first, and then people
right.
think the whole time that they directed the movie, and then the director doesn't even get that shine like that. It's like, oh, wait a minute, man, the producer ain't supposed to have his name on the cover. That's for the director.
Yeah, that's one of those. We got to make sure somebody actually comes to see this. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
put the
because
big name.
nobody knew who that director was. I mean, I get it. It's just kind of messed up.
Yeah, and I'm looking up his name on Letterboxd, and we got New Jersey Drive here, and none of these other movies I am familiar with at all. Maybe Drowning Mona sounds familiar, but I've never seen it. Yeah, a movie called Drowning Mona came out in 2000. It's got Danny DeVito and Bette Midler in it, and Nev Campbell. Wow, Jamie Lee Curtis got a great cast.
Hmm.
Danny DeVito, Bette Midler, Nev Campbell, Jamie Lee, I said, Corey Casey Affleck, William Fichtner.
Wow, it's a lot
Yeah,
of names. Never
there's
even
a,
heard of that.
there's a lot of names. Yeah, I think I've heard of it, but I know I've never seen it. And other than that, and he's got looks like I don't know if that's a TV movie. Lizzie Borden took an axe, Laws of Gravity, movie called Ill Town, but definitely not what you think it is by the title. That one's got Michael Rappaport in it and Lily Taylor. And a movie called Ricochet, but not one that I know, not the Denzel one for sure.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Uh,
So yeah, this is the only one I've seen of his movie. He did a movie called Final Jeopardy too. I don't know what that one. Dana Delaney. Oh, that was a TV movie from ABC. Okay.
uh.
So yeah, he went on to do not bigger and better things. I guess, unfortunately. So I don't think this was that bad. His career should be ending.
Spike was like, "Yeah,
Um,
I ain't producing no more movies for you, bro."
all right. Well, that's it. We made it through. I'm gonna turn the
Awesome.
stage over to you. You can just let the good people know where to find you, how to follow you, anything you want to put out there in the universe for them to see. It's all good. Stage is yours, bro.
All right. Well, my man Dale, I appreciate you having me on the show. Uh, got me to watch a movie I never saw. It was interesting. Not the greatest thing I ever saw, but it wasn't bad. I can say that I have seen New Jersey Drive in its entirety now. So, and then I appreciate you checking out Dead Silence. All the viewers, thank y'all for sticking with us tonight and for the conversation. You can check me out on Facebook and Instagram at Movies with Migs. That's Migs. Uh, Post content daily. At least I try to. I'm in the movie theater a lot. I go to the new movies. I go to old movies. I go to the drive-in. Got indie theaters here in Baltimore that we go to. Go to a lot of movies. So I post reviews a lot of times. Check those out. Hit up the page. If you're into cinema, you got a movie page, hit me up. I'm always love to interact with people on Facebook and Instagram. So if you do your thing on Instagram with the movies too, holla at me, give you a follow. I like to see people's movies collections and all the stuff that they're into. So yeah, that's what I do. I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate you, Dale, for having me on once again. Thanks, brother.
All right, no, thank you, thank you. You came through big. We had a great conversation. At least I think we did. Really enjoyed that. Links to your Instagram, links to his Mig's Instagram are in the description of the video, and I'll get a link for the Facebook page. I'm not a Facebook person, so I can't even check it. So you have to give me a link.
Nah,
My,
I hear
my
you, man. Yeah, I try to I post similar content on those, but I also post different stuff just because the platform's a little bit different. So
Okay.
I Facebook is the main side of my movie page, but like I said, I post my reviews on Instagram whenever I get new movies and things like that, and I try to keep up with other people's stuff too. So
All
I'm
right,
on
cool.
both.
Yeah,
So
just shoot me the link to that, and I'll put it in the description to the video. As for
all right,
this channel, I actually have another movie swap this week. I usually do these
nice,
once a week, but I have one this week coming up on Friday, and on Friday, I'm gonna have my guy Nate B. Jones, or specifically Blu-rays with Nate B. Jones, as his channel's called, and
nice,
just come hang out with us if you got some free time Friday night. And we were gonna do it Wednesday. He's a little under the weather, so he asked to reschedule. So hopefully Nate's feeling well. Hopefully Caveman's feeling well by then. Hopefully I'm still feeling well, and Migs is still feeling well, and all y'all still feeling well. And we're gonna have a good time Friday night. But that's all I got for you guys. Check out Migs. Subscribe to each other in the chat. Lots of great content makers down there. And if you like what you saw here, subscribe to me. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Later, guys.